Look at this shit. I am running around, jumping around perfectly fine, and I am carrying 4 AA guns, 2 pickup trucks, 1 delivery truck, 1 buggy, 2 APCs, 6 tanks, 2 ATVs, 3 gunships, 1 helicopter, 2 rifles, 1 chainsaw, and 1 rotten apple. A common sense inventory system is just one of the many great things about this game. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the front. I love that music too, man. It really gets you in the mood. So, in a game where we can get tanks, pickup trucks, APCs, gunship helicopters, spaceships, and get attacked by giant bald eagles, where do we all begin? Well, let's begin at the start. We're going to break down every aspect of the front, including everything from basic gathering and combat to the game's fantastic PvE Tower Defense system mechanic. We're going to have timestamps for each of the different mechanics below, so if you're just looking for the combat or you just want to know about the base building, do check those out. Otherwise, stick with me and let's dive into this game. First up, let's look at the front's gathering system. Now, this is a very easy thing to overlook in these games. You'd think it's a trivial part of the survival experience, but let's be honest, every epic fight, for every PvP encounter, we've all spent countless hours farming fiber, wood, ores, flatch, whatever you need, you name it, we've all farmed it. The front's gathering system is very familiar. You know, you use an axe to chop trees, a pickaxe to mine stone, and sickle for plants. It is very basic. It's only early access stuff yet, and if anything gets improved, it's going to be stuff like animations, sound effects, that kind of thing. So I would like to see it push more towards like Conan Exiles and ARK Survival Evolved, where a lot of time and energy has gone into, you know, every chink of the stone moves a different bit of the rock and the sound effects a little bit different, just for a bit more immersion and variation when you're doing the gathering. But other than that, it's all very familiar. You've got to find the materials yourself, haul them back to your base, which is supported by a fantastic inventory system based on inventory slots, not weight. So you can carry as much as you want as long as it's per slot. 1 million tanks, it's all good. The crafting and building system in the front is, for lack of a better word, fucking huge. It really is massive. I've played about 20 hours and I don't even have half of one tech tree unlocked. Half of one, not even there yet. Each tech tree has construction items, upgrades, tools, you name it. It's categorized into basic, weapons, structure, vehicles, gear, and supplies and tech. Keep in mind that each unlock you get can give you multiple new items. So the basic tree consists of 26 upgrades and provides all your basic materials and upgrades. The weapon tree provides you with everything from a spear to an LMG, attachments included, and has 65 different unlocks. Structures for all your building and farming needs, including irrigation systems and complex electrical setups, has 43 unlocks. Tanks, helicopters, gunships, buggies, and vehicles in the vehicle tree have 35 unlocks. Gear, the home for all your armor and inventory upgrades, has 20 unlocks. Supplies has everything from cooking to chemistry with 31 unlocks. And saving the best tree until last, the tech tree, which has 42 upgrades and includes everything from meat grinders to spike traps and rain collectors. As I said, it really is an absolutely huge system and it's really exciting. Like every unlock, I felt like I was getting something new. Some of it is quite difficult to work out, but I quite like the complexities in games like that. You know, trying to get your first electrical system or your irrigation system set up. It's good fun. It's a good challenge. There's a lot to do in this, and so much of it leads in towards probably the game's favorite feature for me, which is the PvE Tower Defense style gameplay. So for this to make sense, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of my murder house. As you can see here, I've got spikes outside, I've got spike traps on the floor, I've got arrow walls. All of this stuff you can build and unlock in the crafting system. You've got to put arrows into the arrow walls. I've got a floor here that collapses so all the zombies should fall down and die on more arrows and spears. They're supposed to walk through and navigate this treacherous corridor before they come over to this device here. That's what I thought was going to happen. I got the entire thing wrong. They spawned at that device and everything went to complete shit. Thinking that a lack of roof was the problem, I went to gather some wood, some more wood, and even more wood, and then constructed a roof across my entire base, thinking they spawned in from the sky. After I built the wood ceiling, I prepared my materials, refilled all my arrow traps, and the same thing happened again. So I've got this mechanic completely wrong so far. Basically, the creature thing attracts to them. I'll get a video up on this at some point. What you're supposed to do is build these big extravagant traps and, you know, meat grinders and all these other things, flamethrowers, turrets, and have them come into you in a way that you can control so that the enemies are sort of rushing certain points and that. It really allows for like a stronghold defensive vibe where you've got tons of people communicating, really cool tech that you don't really get in other games of this style. So it's a feature that I really love, just one I haven't really got to explore as much as I want yet, but as soon as early access hits, you can bet I'm going to be in there giving this shit a shot. Probably the area of the front that really impressed me the most was the combat system. Now, the melee is a bit janky. You know, you're sitting there trying to stab someone with a stick from a foot away. And I suppose you can technically miss, as you saw me do that zombie earlier on. But you've got the melee combat, then you've got weapons like long-range weapons, you've got bows, you've got tanks, helicopters, machine guns. There is so much in this. The gunplay feels really good. I did struggle without any attachments, but I generally suck if a gun doesn't have a red dot on it because the flash of the gun covers my target and then I can't hit it. But that's more of a subjective thing than an actual issue with the game. There's sort of areas you can go and explore where are enemy strongholds are NPCs. You can have wolves and stuff attack you in the wild. These NPC strongholds, they have good loot. The loot all respawns, so you're going to be going in and out every now and then. You can capture people and make them your followers, so you can take them back to your base, a bit like Conan Exiles, and put them to work on some of the different benches and stuff that you've got. So I really like the combat system. The guns are really good. They look great. They reload really well. The hits feel good, they feel impactful. A lot of times I find these sort of smaller games, these indie games, sometimes the hits all feel a bit pingy and a bit shallow, but they're really good in this. I think, again, it's skill-based, it's an FPS, so if you're good at those Twitch shooters, you can line up a quick headshot, you're going to do really well in this. For those like me that have got a bit old in the tooth and your reaction speeds aren't quite what they used to be, you might want to hide and use a sniper rifle, but there's many different ways to approaching the combat, there's many different styles and strategies you can use, so this is going to be really interesting. I haven't done much PvP at all. There wasn't many players on when I went, so I'm not sure how the ping and the lag is going to take effect yet, but it's early access, so we're going to have these teething problems. Exploration in the front is actually a really rewarding side activity you can do. There's a multitude of reasons to get you outside of the comfort zone of your very own little base, so grab your favourite weapon, stock up on food and water, head out into the wilds and see what you can see. Now, primarily, I was looking for enemy encampments. This is where you'll find a multitude of enemies with different types of weapons. You can, as I mentioned earlier on, you can capture them to make them a follower. So this is really cool if there's some unique names out there because they have skills and abilities that can aid with your crafting. So it makes hunting down these strongholds really useful. You can find talent points, which directly involve increasing your character's power. There's loot chests all over the map. And again, these always respawn. So if you've got one near your base, you can go out and grab it. If you go a bit further out, you can go out and get some more. There's blueprints, there's all sorts of stuff. You can also find spaceships. These sort of put down a big beam out of the sky, highlighting a chest that usually has really rare and valuable rewards, but these are level locked, so you can't always get them. So there's a lot of reasons to go out and explore outside of just finding rare minerals and valuables or building a base outside of the noob spawn. But yeah, so far, again, I've only explored maybe 5% of the map, and I've had a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to look for. So I think exploration is going to be a big part until all the maps come out and we know where everything is. But until then, it's a good time. If you're still watching this video, I cannot thank you enough. We're mostly a game guide channel here at Gamers Heroes. We are trying to branch out into more previews and reviews, but Google doesn't like it and YouTube doesn't like it. So we get dumped. So if you are enjoying this video, do like it. Consider sharing it with some of your friends. Maybe you can convince them to get into the game. But last up, we're going to look at the progression systems. So outside of the tech tree that we've already shown you, there's a few different ways you can level up your character. You can get new gear and blueprints from doing a variety of different things. You get a ton of rewards from defending your base. They're really cool. You've also got this massive talent tree. Now, these are talent points that you can find at enemy strongholds, bases. You'll get them for defending your base as well. And these can increase a ton of different things about your character. You can increase your health, your stamina, how much damage you do with certain weapons, how much you can gather from certain tools. It's a basic system, but it's one that rewards you for going out and killing people and finding stuff, taking down enemy strongholds. There's also a quest system, which is massive, but it's all very passive. It's just on the side of your screen. It will tell you to do stuff. As you do it, you're just getting rewards and rewards and rewards. So it's just a constant influx of that sort of dopamine hit, if you like, where you're just like, yes, this is great. I've got something else. So the progression so far for early access is great. Last, and in all honesty, probably least, we have the survival mechanics. These are all very familiar. You have your health bar, your food bar, and your hydration bar, and you have to monitor your temperature. If you run out of food or you run out of water and you hit 0, you will start to take damage over time, eventually dying of starvation or dehydration. If you get hit too much by enemies, your health goes to 0, you die. If you're in too hot or too cold, your health will drop over time, and you will also die. They're very familiar, instantly recognizable, but it's quick. You can get completely self-sustainable on food in like 10 minutes. Just build your first fish trap, get your campfire going near the water. You've got all the supplies you need. So it's important enough to constantly remind you you're playing a survival game, but not where your first 25 hours are just about gathering berries and crap off the floor. So it works really well. It's very simple. I hope they expand on it a bit as early access goes in, but overall, yeah, it's pretty good and it works. Just want to say a quick thanks to the folks over at Uber Strategist for giving access to this before the early access release, which is coming up here on October the 11th, I believe. So go and check the Steam page out. give it a wish list, watch the trailer. The trailer's really cool. And honestly, I don't even know why I bother doing an outro to these videos. I'm pretty much talking to myself at this point. So goodbye me, and I'll see me in the next video.